Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Happy Mind, Happy Life podcast, where we take a few minutes each week to pause, breathe, reflect, and connect about how we can create more peace, more joy, and more calm in our everyday life. I'm your host, Michelle Werdeman, and I am so grateful you decided to hit play today. What is happening, my friends? Welcome back to the Happy Mind, Happy Life podcast. It's been a hot minute since I've been on here. I think it's been a couple weeks. We just came back from a wonderful family vacation down in Turks and Caicos, and day and a half before we left, I had done the Tough Ruck Marathon, which is 26.2 miles, and you wear a heavy backpack. And that particular day, Mother Nature had decided it was going to be cold and rainy and just a little bit of hail. So, yeah. And coming back from vacation, I don't know about you guys, I always need a little bit of downtime, like just some time to regroup. And people joke you need a vacation from your vacation. So, yeah, I've been taking a little bit of time to just kind of get back into the swing of things and reality. And here I am. So, I wanted to share with you some things that I've been reflecting on from our vacation that I learned about myself, about the shift in dynamics, how things change as kids get older. And I think a lot of people can relate to this because going into this vacation, and I'll preface this by saying, so Turks and Caicos, we've gone, I think that was our sixth time going. And we started going when my son was 2, my daughter was 5, and they're now 13 and 16. So over the course of 11 years, we've gone usually like every other year or so. But anyway, leading up to this vacation, I had all of these expectations, I think, of how the vacation was going to go. I don't even think I consciously knew that I had these expectations, but I was so looking forward to it. And it wasn't about getting away from, work and everything like that. I mean, part of it was, but seeing my son now a teenager and my daughter now 16 and starting to learn to drive, there was part of me that really thought this vacation was gonna just kind of keep them small and keep them needing me and be very much like the vacations that we've celebrated there in the past. And what I realized one afternoon, I think it was probably 2 days before we left, maybe, and I'm sitting at the pool and my kids were off doing something. My husband was doing his own thing, and I'm just looking around at all of these families and all the little kids. And this particular resort that we go to, it's called Beaches. They have the Sesame Street characters there. So you'll see, Oscar the Grouch walking around or Elmo. And anyway, so I'm watching all these kids get like super excited to see the characters, and they're swimming with their floaties. And I just started to get kind of sad. Not kind of sad. I started to get really sad. And the reason is because I think part of me really missed my kids needing me. Like as I'm watching parents put the sunblock on and the floaties and helping them swim, and my kids were off at the water park, I think at this time. Like they didn't need me to take them down the water slides. And I just started, to get a little bit nostalgia. Um, And I had to stop myself because it was very easy for me to have gone down the rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, like my daughter's already 16. She's going to be going to college soon. My son's 13 pretty soon. He's not going to want to, snuggle or whatever. And if he hears me even saying that right now, that he still likes to sometimes, he'd kill me. But, yeah. So what I realized was, as I'm watching kind of with some envy of these younger families and reflecting on that used to be us, I realized I was like, you know what? I'm watching one kid get taken away by his parents
because he's screaming and throwing a fit. Another kid wasn't listening to his parents because I forget what he was doing. And I chuckled to myself because I don't miss that. Like, I was like, my kids right now are having a blast and they don't need me to do the water park. I'm sitting here and I'm able to relax. Those parents couldn't do that. And it reminded me of the podcast episode I recorded earlier this year about nostalgia and how sometimes nostalgia is so wonderful. And when we can reflect back on like really, truly happy moments and things that we're grateful for and all of that, it's so wonderful. But we often fantasize the past because if I think back to our first vacation there, so again, my son was 2. We went to breakfast the first morning and he threw up on the floor of the restaurant and had the stomach flu for the first 3 days. Like, I wasn't thinking about that. And like all the craziness that came along with that, or just the little things like toddlers being toddlers. And now we're at a place where my children just need me in a different way. So I have to laugh though. The beginning of this vacation, my son started off with strep throat for the first 3 days. So there's that. So he did keep that tradition going. But I also started to think about how much better certain things were versus how sad I was that things were not the way that they used to be. Like, one thing that I realized, like, we don't get to create or recreate past versions of our lives. And when we try to, it's very easy to miss the version that's right in front of us. And just because it's different doesn't mean that it's worse. It just means that it's different. One of the things I remember thinking when we were at dinner one night and the 4 of us, and we're enjoying like a wonderful steak dinner. And I think our reservations, we got there pretty late. So it was like 8 or 8:30. And it was nice because we had like some downtime in between like the beach and the pool before we got to get ready. And I thought about how nice it was to be able to have teenage kids, to have a nice late evening dinner with and just enjoy the time. Like, watching them enjoy a beautiful meal, not me having to, cut everything up in a million pieces and them being overtired at that point. And yeah, it's just, I really learned on this trip to be more present. And while things do look different, that's not a bad thing. And not that I thought it was a bad thing, but it was just, yeah, sometimes I feel like I have a tendency to hold on to past versions of things. So I think a lot of us do. So that was one thing that I was reflecting on. And another thing was, when I went into this vacation, when I planned this vacation, I added some extra bonuses. I upgraded our room. And I did all of this because I wanted everyone in my family to just have such a good time. And we did. But one thing I realized was, one, I was putting so much pressure on myself to make this perfect so that everybody was happy. And almost like it was my job to like create this amazing experience for everyone. I personally, I love creating fun experiences. And it's just something I really enjoy. But I had to also remind myself, like, we don't control how other people experience something. Like, we can plan and we can contribute, we can create the space, but everyone experiences things through their own lens. Like, their own joy is theirs. We can't create happiness for people. And yes, we can contribute to it by things that we do for people, but ultimately, people are going to experience an experience the way that they're going to. It's through their thoughts and their emotions. And that actually, when I stopped to think about it, was really freeing, and it took the pressure off myself, and it just allowed me to just be in the experience instead of trying to manage it. So I think about at one point, especially towards the beginning, like my son just wanted to hang out in the room for a little while. He had strep throat. Like this is his vacation too. He's such a trooper too. Like he just popped some ibuprofen on top of um, the antibiotic. But, and he went and he swam, but when he wanted his downtime, that was okay. Like that's what he wanted to experience. And when my daughter wanted to spend, an hour sunning herself on the deck versus being with the rest of us down at the pool, then that was okay because that's what she wanted. And it was their experience, and that's what was going to bring them joy. Even in my mind, originally it was like, oh, they're not having fun if they're not with us. Like, no offense, Michelle, come on. They're 16 and 13. They don't want to be with you all the time. I might want to be with them all the time, which, you know what? Actually, that's not even true. I enjoyed reading my book in peace, having my own downtime. But it was just a gentle reminder of we don't create other people's experiences. They create them through their own mind, through their own lens. So if there's anything I'd like to offer you from this, because it completely shifted the way I saw things in such a positive aspect. And again, this vacation was hands down just so amazing for so many different reasons. So if there's anything I'd offer you from this, it's this. Notice where you might be trying to recreate something from your past. Or are you putting pressure on yourself to make something perfect for everyone else? Or even just noticing how your role in life might be shifting. And what does that feel like? And gently ask, what would it feel like to let this old version be what it is? And let this current version, again, whatever this is that you might be holding on to the past about, like, what would it be like to simply embrace and see the current, the present for what it is? Because there's so much beauty in that when we allow ourselves to stop and see it. And I'm not upset that I got upset about missing my kids at those ages and needing me in the way that I watched other families experiencing those. Those are true raw emotions. But what I didn't do is let it ruin my time, or obviously it's not going to ruin the whole vacation, but it didn't ruin that moment. It actually made me smile and teary because I was so grateful to have experienced that. And now with my kids older, it was such a beautiful vacation that we all got to spend really kind of how we each wanted to. So, yeah, that's something to throw out there to reflect on. And, if you're looking for a little bit more support in just slowing down and being mindful and being more present and just learning how to connect to your own experience, I created the Happy Mind, Happy Life app. It's filled with a lot of just short, simple practices, guided meditations, emotional freedom technique, which is known as tapping, journaling prompts, things you can actually fit into your day without feeling overwhelmed. And you can explore it for a 7-day free trial just to see if it supports you in any way. And I'll put the link at the in the show notes. But yeah, it's very beginner friendly. I love a lot of the different wellness and meditation apps that are out there. But what I did find with a lot of my clients is they were very overwhelmed and they didn't know where to start in them. So this was one of the reasons I wanted to create the Happy Mind, Happy Life app. Very beginner friendly. And even if you're seasoned, meditator or whatnot, it's also the perfect place just to incorporate little tiny things into your day-to-day life. And before we wrap up, I have some really, really great conversations coming up that I think you guys would love to hear, that I'm excited to share with you. Next week, we have a 2-part series with author and coach Ruth Rooney, and it's all about meeting people where they are, whether it's in your personal life or your professional life. And it's such a great conversation because we talk about dropping expectations for appreciation and really, being empathetic and learning to meet people where they are. And then I'm sitting down with Lauren Ahola from the Lean Life podcast. She's a holistic nutritionist, and we're going to talk all about energy, food, mind-body connection, how that all relates, and how that impacts us on a day-to-day basis. So make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss those episodes, because I think you're going to love them. And as always, I am so grateful that you're here, that you're listening, and if you have any topics that you want to hear about or hear more about, just shoot me a message if you go to michellewerdeman.com through the contact page, and I'd love to hear them. I would love to be able to bring them to you. So whenever and wherever you're listening to this, I hope you truly have a beautiful day, and cheers, my friends. Thank you so much for being here and spending time with me today. If this episode resonated with you, or you think someone in your life could really use this message, I'd love for you to share it with them. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any upcoming episodes and conversations. You can also stay connected with me on Instagram at Michelle Werdeman, or visit michellewerdeman.com for upcoming events, offerings, the Happy Mind, Happy Life app, and so much more. And as always, cheers to creating a happier mind and a happier life.